The podcast you have been waiting for.
6 friends, 6 opinions, infinite laughs.
History in the making. You don't have to open up your eyes, you can clearly see. The number one podcast is GCU Week. 20 years of brotherhood, the Q La Familia. Raw, uncut, uncensored, and unfiltered. Bub's opinionated, while Eddie keep you laughing. Steve will get the tea while Shot tells us all what's happening. Spiritual or natural, I'm here for the thrills. And when it comes to PJ, y'all, please say the real. From quick hits, heavy lifting, the master of the week. We getting ratings through the roof every time that we speak. GA to the Aspens, turning podcasts into under-table has-been. Sports, entertainment, and current events. Sometimes we get pissed, so the crew got a vent. So when Friday night come, you know just what to do. Sit back, put up your feet, and now rocking with the Q.
Yo, I ain't even gonna lie. We probably got the dopest theme song ever. Like,
Yeah,
our shit's fire. Like real rap. That's a dope ass track.
But yo, this little side note.
That's pretty hard, y'all. Like, yeah.
No, I'm sitting there bugging because every time I see that Bill Cosby drum, I do a little. That shit kills me, cuz.
Just for so that people know that's Bub's fault. Bub requested that specifically.
Hey, I'm with it. I
mean, you can't go wrong with the cause, like, you know.
No,
my bad, y'all. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the GQ podcast. This is another happy Friday. You know what I mean? So before we get started, I'm gonna let Bub introduce himself and then we go to Eddie.
Good to be back. If it's your first time with us, we welcome you. And if it's not your first time with us, we welcome you back. Either way, we hope you enjoy the show.
All right, and then we're gonna jump over to Eddie because he's home today in the man cave. What up, cuz?
So you just making sounds now. That's what you do. Like we just freestyle sounds. Like that's introductions.
I just took Jigga's ad lib real quick because I'm looking at the camera. I forgot I have my Rockaware hoodie and shit. But hey, what's going on, y'all? Like you know me, you know my motto. I love everybody. You know what I mean? So let's
no doubt.
You know, it's people that just listen to this on the podcast, so they ain't see none of that. Like, so we got Eddie.
Like, did he fall? What was that? Did his mic hit him in the face? Like, yeah. No, that was him. His Jigga attempt, people. That's what it was.
I didn't do a good job. Wait, let me get another go at it. Let me get another go at it. Hold on.
Really?
No.
I don't know what that
was. Nah. No, that wasn't good.
Yo, I gotta work on it.
We got Steve and PJ being in with us in a little bit, so we just gonna like chop it up for a second.
Shout out to
for me
too.
Shout out to Bugs. You know, Bugs is a hardworking man, so you know what I mean, he's handling business. I mean, welcome back again. We had a couple weeks off. Hopefully, like you guys had a great Thanksgiving, holiday season, however you want to interpret the Indians and the Pilgrims.
Really?
I mean, that's basically what they tell us it's about. Some people say you shouldn't eat Thanksgiving dinner and call it Thanksgiving because people got slaughtered. I mean, macaroni and cheese is my friend, so
yes,
I'm gonna keep participating.
Indeed. Love it.
Overrated.
So, but here we go.
Overrated.
It's over. It's over now. Like,
that's coming from the person that don't like soul food.
Right.
Don't.
Right.
He half Italian.
Right. He ain't even like that's the only thing about it. Listen, he's one of the pro-blackest scummies I know. But when it comes to soul food, he pulled out his inner white dude.
Yo,
you know what I mean? He's the real BMF right there.
Look, after a rally, you need some ziti. You know what I'm saying? Like after a hard march, you need some big ziti or some rigatoni. That's what I feel like. But hey.
That's crazy.
That's funny as hell.
So I mean, I escaped the South African COVID. I pretty much got out like a couple days before they locked it down.
Mm-hmm.
But Africa is fucking beautiful. So if you ever have a chance to go, do it. Absolutely no regrets.
Let them know what part you are in, how many days, real quick.
Oh, cool. So we started off because it's a long trip. So you start off, we went to Amsterdam. We stayed there for 3 days and then flew from Amsterdam to Cape Town. And it was in Cape Town for 4 days. Cape Town, it was weird because Cape Town's only like 25 years outside of apartheid. So like the race barriers are like prevalent, like you just see them like blatantly in front of you. The part of Cape Town I was in was called Cape Bay. So Cape Bay is where they call them the occupiers. So they say the occupiers live in Cape Bay. That's where your wealthy white people live, basically.
Gotcha.
But it's separated by, you have the white people who are in Cape Town, and then the next line over is the colored people. So colored is like you're mixed with anything before you're just African or before you're just black. So colored is like literally a segment of people. And then you have the Afrikaans, which are the black natives from South Africa, and then you have the Indians, like I guess East Indians, like India, those kind of people. Okay. So it's like it's very segregated, but then like it blows your fucking mind when you like drive down the highway going somewhere and you see like those 10 house, like you can feed a kid for $1 a day areas. That's and they say it's like the second largest population of Africa in those areas. Like it's you see 10 roofs like as far as you can like look back. It's insane. But they got satellite dishes. I didn't understand that part.
Hey, technology's everywhere. Don't let it fool you.
Right. I'm saying I didn't like you see like their power lines. It's like it's a strip, and then it's like you just see a bunch of wires coming off the power line, and then like probably every other house had a satellite dish. So it's crazy. It's some eye-opening shit for you for real.
That's dope.
But definitely want to go back.
That's definitely
I ain't go back. I don't think back to Cape Town. I'll probably go like Johannesburg. I'm sorry, Johannesburg. I've been saying it wrong my entire life.
You said it with an American accent, but how many days were you there for?
Cape Town 4.
Okay. All right.
It's because it's like from here to Amsterdam is like 8 hours flying out. It's 10 hours flying back.
Okay.
And then from Amsterdam to South Africa is another 10 hours. So you got to like find a way to break that up because a 21-hour flight is not your friend.
Yeah, I'm sure.
True.
So it's definitely a life-changing experience, as you hear from everyone. Definitely look forward to checking that out and doing that myself sometime.
Sure.
Later.
Next year.
Collectively as a group?
Nah, as a group. The Q's taking South Africa, or no, not South Africa. We should go somewhere like else, like Kenya or like Ghana or something.
Can you imagine how dope it would be to do a show from the motherland? Like that would mean so much to me, yo. That'd be fire. That'd be fire.
We could do that because they got satellite dishes. So I mean, we good.
They got pasta.
I mean, it's some right something there. I mean, you can find something. They got you with something.
All right, cool.
Bub's gonna go there and lose weight. He don't want no parts of it.
No doubt.
Let's kick this off. Let's jump into one of these quick hits real quick. Let's do this one first. This shit's just fucking disgusting. I don't know if y'all heard about this or not, but let's go with the PETA, John.
PETA takes a jab at clothing stores with its own line of human leather clothing and accessories. The animal rights group launched an online outlet called Urban Outrage. It features items pitched as being made from human parts. Names of people supposedly killed adorn dresses, handbags, belts, jackets, shoes, and pants. The fake marketplace is aimed at making shoppers think twice before buying an item made from an animal. Clicking add to cart on the website takes shoppers to more information on PETA's mission.
Yo, what the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface shit is that?
That's some Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal. Like that's some nasty, crazy shit.
That's disgusting.
Are you buying your Michelle belt?
What? The thing is, right?
Kimberly Koofy.
I guess we live in a shock-based society, so I guess for them to say like, this is how disgusting it is when you purchase animal leather. So what would you do if you felt that you were wearing Michelle's belt or a Michelle skin belt, but it just looks so outrageous and it's so outlandish to try to go that far with it, especially with these times and everything that's going on. Like it had shoes, bags, it had a jacket with people's faces on it. Like, oh man, that was disgusting. Like,
I think that's a mistake. I think they're gonna lose some supporters from that one. That's a step too far. Like, I'm here for PETA to a degree. I'm still gonna eat my lamb chops. Like, I don't really.
How you here for PETA then?
like, yo, listen.
I buy leather bags. I'm not
exactly.
I mean, I'm not.
I wear leather jackets, but yo, cuz you know what? And like Bub said on our personal shit, he was like, he gets what it is. Like, you get what they're trying to do. But it's like, yo, come on, man. Like, come on, man.
That's
like,
but it's
like
just, it's not
this
gonna work.
reminds me of. Here's a good example, and this is what it grinds my gears about this. And I just want to let everybody know that I'm a dog. I'm a dog person. Everybody, I own 2 dogs. I'm a pet person. So before I want to put that out there, but I fucking hate like the people that are so gung ho. Oh, he did this, that, and the third to the animal, to the whatever. Like they're outside picking at Michael Vick for his situation or whatever. But I don't see y'all doing that shit when women getting raped or when somebody in the NFL murders somebody type shit. Like y'all don't got that same energy. I hate that. It's like, yo, so you're basically telling me that human life is less important than animal life? That's how I view it.
I mean, I find it ironic that they compare them and say that they're equal. Like that's
what I'm basically trying to say, cuz
you know what I mean? No. But that's what it's saying to me. Like, I get it. Like you said, some people are carnivore, some people we're people. We have the option. But I wonder, these same people that are in PETA, that work for PETA, do they drive cars with just itch? They don't have any leather interior. They don't have any, because people are very selective about what they want to argue. But if you look at some of their details, some of their personal things, you'll find, oh man, you got a pretty decent car. Like you have leather, or like you said, you have a leather coat or you have a leather belt. Like, I'm not sure about that. Like, people are real quick to point fingers until you start really going over to like raking the coals and start seeing some of the details behind some of what's going on with them, man. Like,
yeah, I think that's the thing.
They're hypocrites, man. Fuck that.
I'm saying it's
are you really gonna make it? Like, come on. So basically, you're committing a crime if you want to be sensible about it. Like, I get it's not real human shit, or is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like what are you doing? Like, come on. It's disgusting. There's nothing about it that's like, yo. And then these assholes are probably walking around right now wearing this ridiculous ass shit. And it's like, why though? What is your purpose? Like, I get that you're all about the animal rights, but I mean, they're animals. They're below us on the food chain. Like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. They're below us on the food chain. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? It's each his own too, by the way. If you want to be a vegetarian and you don't want to do that type of shit to animals, let everybody be great. Ain't nobody forcing other shit down your face. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think animal rights people stretch it a little far. I think senseless killing.
This was way too far.
If you go and you like round up a bunch of chinchillas and you just kill them all so that you can make a scarf, I think that's kind of fucked up. But it's like, if I'm going to eat a lamb chop, it's already dead. Like, I mean, the fact that why waste it?
Dog, animals eat animals, dog. Man, my daughter was literally just watching lions hunt gazelles. Like, come on, man. Like, who gives a fuck?
I mean,
seriously.
I think it's too far. PETA gonna lose some people with that one. That shit was gross.
They're idiots.
I mean, but the shock, that's part of it though. The shock factor, but it just is so extreme to try to prove a point where to really put graphics up of a face jacket like was bananas, and it had noses and lips on it. Like, that was beyond the realm of like, yo, come on, man. Like, you didn't even prove a point. You just gross people out, and it's still gonna make me eat a steak after the fact. So that's on you. So
but the crazy thing
goes wrong.
Because they might pique the interest of a serial killer who's like, yo, that's actually a good idea.
Right, that's
right, real shit.
Yo, I want a fucking belt from Kimberly. Like you got crazy fucking people out here. You might have just like
Spark
that's
the
nasty.
interest.
It's beyond sparking interest, guys. You know that's that. She puts the lotion in the bucket. Like this. Clarice.
Yeah.
It puts the lotion in the bucket. Dude was dancing around them little lace straws. All right, so we're gonna talk about
Y'all crazy, yo. Y'all crazy. No
let's
doubt.
jump to Rose. Yo, so all right, it's a question that's constantly being asked. Like, how much money do you need to retire? Like, what would you feel comfortable retiring at? So this is Rick Ross's not necessarily retirement statement, but just how much money you have in the bank.
Right. It's too many ways to make the goal used to be $1 million. It's a B now.
Yeah.
Now it ain't even $1 billion no more.
Yeah.
That's become local.
Mark Cuban said that to us. He says that if you have $1 million, you should be walking on eggshells right now. You should be scared. You should be scared because you're
$1 million?
If you have $1 million.
Oh, nigga. Nigga, if you got one ticket, boy, you gotta. Nigga, 10.
10.
Minimum.
15.
Minimum.
Need at least 10 to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Nah, 10, you should be scared.
Ooh, okay.
That's when you pitching on the mound like Rose. And no excuses gonna be accepted. We ain't accepting no excuses. We really coming to get it. It's one thing when motherfuckers rapping, making songs and talking about this, that, 20 million, and then this shit real right here. This shit real. We accumulating. Fuck all that fancy shit, cause it's a real big difference in who doing it and who talking about doing it.
It's the evolution. Like I feel like our heroes growing up, they never got a chance to mature. Like when Big said the rings and things you sing about, bring them out. That was what he knew. He was 23 years old, but it ain't really about rings. Right. It's about
no. We most definitely.
No, but I'm saying that's important.
No,
that's important.
I understood exactly what Big
but I'm saying that you.
Yeah.
This is what, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like the evolution of the businesses, the money that you're talking about, bring them out.
Without a doubt.
We never.
So a milli, is it enough?
So I think it just depends on your cost of living. I mean, your price of like, how am I trying to say that? What do you spend daily, right? Because $1 million for me, I feel like $1 million would be enough for me by the time I retire. Let's just be real. Like, I'm not a rich dude. Like, I don't have the finer things in life. I don't have a yacht and all that extracurricular shit. Like, a normal guy like me, like, yeah, I think $1 million. If I had a cool $1 million at retirement, I think I'd be smooth, man.
Why don't you make it a Q million? You don't think that's too much? Nah.
Classic coming to America. But
Right.
yeah, I think everybody's level of comfort is different. You know, and that's even just on our level. You know, some people are content with their lives being a certain way.
Right.
So the amount of money you place in your retirement, I mean, yes, if you want to set up and break generational wealth, you're going to have some more money. You know, you're going to have things in place that's going to still generate money once you're gone. As far as for me, it may not require as much because I don't plan to live forever, but I want to make sure that my next generation is set up better. So yes, you can try to make sure that there's more than millions of dollars worth of whatever you need to be taken care of for the next generation. It might not be that much for me. You know, my dad's retired now. He lives pretty simple. He does all right, you know, so you know, and if you've done things in life and you're on the back end of it, sometimes you just want peace. You know, like you don't have the routine of the hustle and bustle. Like you can still, with freedom, it allows you that you're not confined to a routine. So then you can do stuff at your own leisure and will anyway. So, you know, and it doesn't necessarily require, you know, just to have this mass amount of money for yourself. So
So I think it's a great message, but it's dangerous because you got people who they can't see that. And the only way they can see it is to take it from somebody else. So it's when you put that out there and it's like, if you don't got, he said 10 to 15. If you got 10 to 15, you should be scared. Like 10 to 15 million dollars for maybe 95% of the people in this country would completely change their families' lives. Period. But it's the mindset of rich people. Steve Harvey was crazy. I was listening to him on the radio. They was asking how much money it would take for him to retire. They was like, so he was like 70 million. He was like, nah, that's not enough. And they were like, $70 million to retire is not enough. And he was like, my lifestyle is too expensive to retire on 70 million. That's fucking insane.
Well, he said wife wrong, but I'll let that slide. You know, we all know, but I know you can't say it, but I can say it. But yeah, man. But that's what it is. Like, it's your lifestyle, what you're used to, how you like to live, what you want to live, and what you want to do. But like I said, it also takes into account, especially as a parent, like you want to leave your kids something. So you want to have, like, he's talking about Mark Cuban, who's on Shark Tank, who owns, you know, a basketball team. Like, these are all supplemental incomes to this billionaire.
Yeah.
So of course that's what he's speaking of. And Rick Ross does that same type of thing as far as his approach to how he handles money. Like, you know, like he buys cars so he can rent them out to also generate additional wealth. So I get it for his standpoint for what
Rick's sitting at like 40 million net worth.
Right.
So
you know, and buying homes and different things like that. So I get it. It's just solely based on your level of what you want to pass down and what you're comfortable with, in my opinion. That's
crazy shit. He bought a house. Rick, because I don't know if everybody know, Rick Ross bought Evander Holyfield's house here in Atlanta, or in Riverdale rather. He bought $1 million house.
The street. My cousin lives down the street.
Bought $1 million house in Fayetteville, and he was like, he bought the house just so he can drive past it every day and look at it.
Yeah,
$1 million.
That.
Like, it's again, it makes that person. Ross's house is literally in the corner of the hood, so it's like the dudes down the street, they ain't seeing $1 million crib. Like, it's just, you know what I mean, they struggling. So if they struggling and they say, oh, you just gotta like that, that's what causes problems with people that actually start making money, because everybody ain't got the security Rick Ross got. Everybody ain't got armed guards at their gates. You know what I mean? So it's like you start running into people's houses, which we just had a situation in LA with what's the name?
Clarence
the
Savant.
Godfather dude. Clarence Savant.
Mm-hmm.
We just had that situation. They ran up in his house, and dude was literally running house to house to house, trying to get money, and that's what that causes. So you might fuck with somebody's life talking like that, but I get what the dude's saying. Like, I ain't saying like I can't be comfortable with 10 to 15 million. You give me about 15,000, I'll be smiling my ass off for about a month and a half.
Yep. So I just want to
I'm buying that new Eddie belt.
I want to respond to a comment that Miss Robinson left over here in the corner over there. She said $1 million is not enough, especially if you want to retire early, 50K a year for 20 years. Respect, right? But that's if that's your plan. My plan isn't, like, I personally, the way I see it and the way my finances and everything is set up, I don't know. All right, no one knows when they're going to die, right? You don't know when you're just going to die. But my thing is, I know I'm going to be old as shit when I finally retire. So, like, that's real. I'm being honest with you.
That's real talk.
No, I'm being honest with you. I know that I'm going to be old as shit when I finally retire. So it's like, let's just throw a number out there, right? Let's just throw a number. 65 to 70, right? Let's just say I'm able to still do what I do, or say my business is popping how I want it to pop. So it's going to be all right. And thinking about from my aspect of what I do for a living, you know, hopefully for me, I got a few trucks rolling, a couple other things going, a couple other business avenues. So it ain't even really like a retirement thing. Just when I'm ready to step down from the business type thing, right?
Yeah.
When I'm done, when it's all said and done, because that's what I'm looking at leaving to my kids, right? Like, I hope that my kids, they're going to do their own thing. Excuse me. And honestly, I hope that they're way more successful than I am, and whatever I have to give to them is like, yo, we could just play with that, have fun with that. That's cool because that means you're living life comfortably. You have a nice path going for yourself. But in the event that it's not like that, and my shit's lucrative, and I can leave it to you, that's cool. All I'm asking is for a few ones to chill with because, yo, I don't see myself retiring early. There's no way in hell I see myself saying, yo, I've been retired for 25 years now. Like, it would be great. And of course, if that was the plan, I need more. You know what I mean? Because she's right. The math is right. Like $50K a year for 20 years, that's, you know what I mean? Like, you that's not really a lot, so to speak. But then again, like I live in a nice, expensive house right now, right? I know for a fact that I'm not going to be living here when we're old, when the kids is going. We're downgrading. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're living in something small. You know what I mean? One floor situation, just me and her.
Wait,
type thing.
is this you saying that, or is this a conversation already happened?
We've had this conversation.
Oh, okay.
We've had this conversation. Like we've definitely had this conversation. I don't want to,
I'm making sure because you talk a lot. You talk a lot of shit on this podcast, and you know.
Nah, but I'm just saying, like, nah. I'm saying all that to say, like, I've always thought my motto was always. I'm gonna say it's my motto, but my thing has always been, I'm a damn near work to death because that's just what it is. Like,
but okay, so. With that said, I think that's somewhere that's a weight that we put on ourselves that other cultures don't do. So they're like, bust your ass for 25 years and then retire comfortably. We don't do that. Like for us, it's hard to see retirement because most of us, our parents, our grandparents worked up until like their last days.
Exactly.
And it's hard for us to see that. But I think if we change that mindset, because I'm along with you, I probably won't stop doing what I do anytime soon.
Right.
And it's because one, I love what I do, and I know that I can have an impact for as long as I'm around. But in the same breath, we don't have a lot of Black people living in retirement communities in like South Florida or mid Florida or California. It's mainly white people that live in those areas, sitting back, chilling, playing croquet and shit. Like that's not our depiction of life. Mm-hmm. So I think it's great to say, but I mean, we need to figure out how to start retiring earlier.
It's the preparation of it though, cuz like I didn't prepare myself to retire at 50 or 60 or 65. I'll be 40 in like a year.
But the key
I don't
thing
see me
is
being done another 10 or 20 years. I'm just being real.
The key thing is what y'all, like what we said though, like the thing is like he's setting up generational wealth. So it's the knowledge that you have to also consider that we weren't aware of those things. Like you said, like the generation before us worked to the grindstone. All right. And it killed them, you know? Yeah. So then now we have a lot more knowledge of that. So you shouldn't necessarily work to the grind. Like Shad, you're an entrepreneur. So it does allow you a little bit more frequency, you know, to be like, if you were to have kids now, you would have a better idea of what you want to do with your kids because of the way you set up your life. I have like I'm working for someone and I have some things that's in place that can allow me to set my kids up that I could still retire semi early. Mm-hmm. But in that same thing, like I got to make sure that I'm making quality decisions for me because I don't want to work until I can't function no more. And I want to be able to do some things, but my kids are young. So then they also have to, if they want to go to school or if they don't want to go to school, I want to still be able to put them in a position that if they want to invest in a trade or something like that, I can provide that, but still live my life in a sense. And I think that's where we got to also understand where part of it is financial
responsibility. That's where he was going.
Right.
Responsibility. Mm-hmm. So it's probably doing
but
like
also just learning.
There you go.
You know, I don't know where it stopped at, but
go ahead.
Yeah,
financial responsibility.
Yeah. And like you said, I think now that we're aware of it, just that we're aware of it, and we should really make sure we put an effort into that for our kids, man. Like you know, and like you said, but also consider our health. Like we're in a great stage where we know all this stress, work on ourselves ain't good. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, by the time you get knowledge of it, you so burnt out, you have health ailments in your mid 40s. 50s, you know what I mean? And then you're dying off. No.
Right.
So
right.
it's just
I think
different.
It's crazy because it's like you get to this point and now you're trying to figure out how to set up a financial stability for your kids or for your kids' kids. Like Blue Ivy would never have to work for anyone else. If she decides to, that's a different story. She never has to clock in anywhere. But it's like that's top of the spectrum. Like the people that aren't up there, you're trying to figure out how to at least give your kids a footing to where there's certain things you don't have to do. Like you don't have to do student loans. You may not have to take out like, borrowing money for whatever. You're trying to figure that part out, but it's a lot to it. And I think a lot of that goes into, again, just making smart financial decisions, life insurance, shit like that, like stuff that we just don't do. People die and you go broke trying to bury folks.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset and it's a lot to it. But I think that if we start educating ourselves and educating each other more about finance and how to like set that stuff up, you'd be all right. Now, a lot of people going to fuck around and go broke trying to like do quick stuff to make money and try to get 2 mil buying Bitcoins and shit. Y'all gonna go broke.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So knock that out. Rick Rose, we hear you, bro.
No doubt.
Borrow 100.
No doubt.
Let me borrow 100,000.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna get into this heavy lifting real quick. Not even real quick for the rest of the show. There's been 3 cases specifically that we're gonna focus on as far as public trials. The main one that we're probably gonna hit is the Arbery trial. So we'll jump into that. But to start off, I think we should probably go with the Sebold case first, because I think that might be like the easiest one to tap on. So here we go.
The American author Alice Sebold has apologized for her part in the conviction of a man exonerated last week of raping her in 1981. In a statement, she said she was struggling with the role she played within what she called a system that sent an innocent man to jail. The events formed the basis of her memoir, in which she described being raped and later telling police she'd seen a black man in the street whom she believed was her attacker. Anthony Broadwater was arrested and convicted on flawed evidence. He spent 16 years in prison. Our North America correspondent David Willis explained the details.
Well, in actual fact, Alice Sebold's memoir, Lucky, may have indirectly led to Anthony Broadwater's exoneration, because Lucky was being turned into a film when the executive director of that film started to question, as the process went on, certain details, not relating to the assault itself, but to do with the investigation and the subsequent trial. He brought in a private investigator. The investigator discovered that things simply didn't add up and recommended that the evidence be referred to a lawyer, and that led last week to Anthony Broadwater's exoneration. Now, his conviction in the first place was based on him being identified in court by Alice Sebold and by some subsequently proved to be flawed forensic evidence. Now, today, Alice Sebold explained why it's taken her more than a week to actually respond to Anthony Broadwater's exoneration. She said, "It's taken me these past 8 days to comprehend how this could have happened. I will continue to struggle with the role that I unwittingly played within a system that sent an innocent man to jail." And she added, tellingly perhaps, as a traumatized 18-year-old rape victim, "I chose to put my faith in the American legal system."
Before we jump into that, yo, what up, Steve?
My audio's
This nigga just came out the game like
trying to get my
he got
start playing through the thing.
This dude just came straight from the game. That's how we do for y'all. We come straight off the field and straight into the show.
Halftime, huh?
Oh shit! Is it
rivalry week, huh?
Yeah. Fuck Pittsburgh. Am I echoing? Is there echo?
Nah, you good.
Nah, you good.
All right, that's the most important part. Then.
Pittsburgh, huh? Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck Pittsburgh. Yeah. What's up, yo?
With that, yo, that verdict, man, like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, there's so much to unpack with that situation. Like, here's the thing. He lost 16 years of his life, how people viewed him, everything, and as a black man, on top of it, we feel that because we get viewed negatively from the big rip. So to sit here and her to wait a week to still try to victim shame in a sense was whack to me. Like, nah, like you immediately address it, and you were planning on making money still off this scenario. And then the story was so whack that when they read your transcripts, they said, "Oh, this only makes sense." So if it didn't make sense,
the publishers read that shit,
right?
And was like, this don't add up.
Exactly.
Don't make sense.
So for me, like the only way that there can be some justice for him, she got to turn over some money.
Oh yeah.
She has to turn over some money. Like here's the thing, she may have been raped, and I'm not making light of rape at all. Right. So I understand that, but to act as if like you're still victim, like you can't, like, yo, something happened to you, now something happened to him, but you were the direct cause of what happened to him. Mm-hmm. So you have to acknowledge that and take that same accountability that you were willing to place on him then. Now you see you're incorrect, so make sure you address that like an adult. While you were making money hand over foot over this situation, now it's your turn to turn over some of that money, because that's what you could have said, like, hey, some of these proceeds from these things, or these things I've made money off of, I'm gonna get him this. I'm gonna get him a house, something like that. Like, straight up, man. Like,
she didn't even apologize though. You hear all that was said? None of that shit was an apology for real. She basically blamed the judicial system. Like,
yo, hold on, cuz we gotta address this real quick, because I'm laughing at this moment, but it's not about the situation. You really went and go put a jersey on?
Oh, I keep jerseys on stash in the man cave, Flair. I forgot it was rival week. I would have ordered shit from the beginning. And then when he came on with that purple shit, and I got upset a little bit. Like, fuck that team. You lucky I didn't put the shirt on that says, "I bet your sweet ass I hate the Ravens." But go ahead.
Y'all crazy.
I just want people to know I'm not laughing at the verdict of this case.
Oh no, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
I think it's crazy when you think about it. Even with people who get exonerated and they come out and you're out of jail, but you've been in jail for. There's a dude who just got out recently somewhere that was like in for like 40 years.
43. It was 43 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you say what that person's life has been worth for 43 years and then say, here's a check for that? Like, you fucked up their life. They don't get that back. Like, I don't think there's enough money I don't think there's, as Rick Ross would say, 10 to 15 million. That's enough to make that comfortable.
Yo, he already wasted, what was it, 18 years?
It's gone.
16. But see, in this case, Sean,
and mixed with his,
she made money off. No, but she made money off of this situation, and it was even brought to light because he was exonerated because, like you said, when she approached Netflix, you know what I mean, about making this movie, they looked at it and was this don't make sense. Look, they said, hold up, what you said in this thing doesn't even make sense. And then the actors that were in line to portray in this movie, they were like, yo, this don't even make sense. So if it didn't make sense to everybody involved now, it couldn't have made sense then. You know what I mean? So
I think that's the crazy part. Like, they said the producer got the script, read it, and was like, something here ain't adding up. And he hired a private investigator that pulled the documents and was able to say, this ain't right. And you get the person exonerated, which means like there's no lawyer that was good enough to say this shit ain't right. Like, this dude shouldn't be in here. And I think that's the fucked up part. I think that lawyers that prosecute on something that they know isn't right, they need to be held accountable for this shit as well. Like, they get an easy pass and they just make an apology. Like, nah, you need to like be penalized for putting innocent people in jail.
Definitely.
That's like that white lady from the Central Park 5.
Yo,
that dude. I met him at the gym this week. What's his name? The big African looking one. Or that sounds wrong.
So we just doing that.
Yo. Yeah,
Can't think of his name.
I just don't understand. Like, I agree with you, cause like definitely some money need to be given to this man because his whole image was ruined for that shit over years. Like this dude, not only did he do the time, like innocent man, all them damn years in jail, knowing damn well he didn't do this shit. He was looked at differently because of this shit. Like I'm sure just jobs and other things that he may have tried to get after the fact. Like they knew about this and it's like he was judged because of that shit, man. Like she ruined his fucking life,
Like,
literally.
Fam,
he
just got out.
Right, he lost his relationship. Him and his
wait, I
baby
thought
at
he
the
got
time.
locked up in 80
Nah, the rape took place allegedly in 80 something, but like I think like he didn't get like arrested, for until like the 90s or like.
I thought he got arrested then, so I thought he was just living all these years. Oh,
so but the thing is that
though,
he lost his relationship, his capability to have children. Like you said, 'cause he's on the other side of his life, and that's the thing. But she was so willing to cash in on it. So like my thing is right. You did. I'm not taking away from the fact that you were raped. You know what I mean? And that's tragic within itself. But you also know that, damn, I did this man an injustice. So if I know that this is, I got to acknowledge this. You can't be walking down the street and people following you cameras and you still have no comment. You know what I mean? Like you should address that. It's an injustice.
But
to the fullest degree,
it goes back to a previous show when you talk about how the cars are stacked up against black people when you get to court. Right. It's even with them knowing that you had a faulty identification, you wasn't really sure that was him. First you said it wasn't him, and then somebody told you that possibly it was him because he added up to the facts and with your case of being raped. And now you say, okay, maybe it was, or that was him. Like shit like that. It's just, it makes it too easy to put, especially black people, in jail that simply. Like on faulty ass evidence, you can say, oh, okay, it was him. And then everybody just go along with it. And now this dude's in jail for 16 years. You can't come out rebound from that. People that go to jail for a year tell you how traumatizing that shit is. 16? Yeah. Like, everything wrong with that, man.
Yeah, that shit foul. And I agree. I didn't say that. I want to second the part about her actually being raped. It's a very fucked up situation. Like, I'm not even, I feel bad that she had to experience that shit. But
I don't like the fact she's making herself the victim. I don't like that. So I don't like the fact she's making herself the victim. I was a traumatized. Well,
that's what I'm saying. That they keep calling it an apology or whatever they're calling it. With her statement that she released, she didn't apologize, cuz she just blamed the judicial system. Like she didn't say,
I put my trust in the American judicial system.
Right. Like, and I'm still learning. Like, come on, motherfucker. Come on.
It's a honest, I fucked up.
Basically,
I wasn't sure that was him, and
plain and simple.
I pointed out the wrong person. How do I fix it?
You don't know what though? She probably don't want to admit fault because she could, like, technically speaking, right? So you basically lied under oath, right? So wouldn't she have to face charges? She actually admitted that she was wrong.
She can say she didn't. She can say she didn't lie. She went with the evidence that was given to her. She don't know who it was.
Nah, so they brought out a lineup, and the part of the story, what it is that I guess she said she wasn't really sure, and then they said one of the guys that she allegedly said that it wasn't the guy, but then she said that she decided it was him. So they asked her again, like, make sure, if that's not the guy, if it's some other guy, and they kind of like coerced her. That's what she tried to. That's why she's trying to play victim with it, and that's what she's trying to do. But either way, you should just acknowledge the fact that you fucked up, like y'all said. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, you have your trauma, but you personally caused this trauma, and like just for today, when you revisit it, maybe a couple weeks, then you can sit there and blame whoever. But at the moment, you address this man, say right.
That's on you. I'm sorry. My forgiveness tactics ain't that high yet. I ain't letting that one go. I can't forgive you for that.
No, I ain't forgiving her at all.
16 years of my life, I'm not forgiving that.
And I'm writing a book about her and her lying ass in court.
No, chew. Lying hoe. All right, so
and Jerry.
I never heard of that lady until 3 days ago.
I didn't know who she was. I never heard of her either.
I never heard of that lady till 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that. All right, before we jump off of this, I think that cases that are people on death row, people who are in with like rape allegations, who are still trying to plead back out, are trying to like do their, what's it called? You go to whatever. They're going back to court to get their case reheard. I think that those cases should be put in the front of court cases so that they can be taken care of. There's a law. The dude that was in jail for 43 years, they was like, they have a law in the books that even if you're innocent, you can't come out of jail. That shit's crazy. But
need to keep them labor camps running.
You know, but if you're a white kid with a long gun, you can do whatever you want to do, like this dude.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the defendant in this case, first emerged into the national consciousness last year. There were protests going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is about an hour north of Chicago. These protests were happening after Kenosha police shot a black man, and Rittenhouse showed up on the second night of protests. He was armed, and that night he shot 3 people and killed 2 of them. Now he's on trial facing, among other charges, intentional homicide.
There will be no dispute in this record that the defendant had that gun that night, shot 8 bullets, 4 of them hit Joseph Rosenbaum, 2 of them at an unknown individual, 1 into Anthony Huber's chest, and 1 into Gage Grosskreuz's arm. That will not be in dispute.
This whole case revolves around self-defense, and the way self-defense works in Wisconsin is
the end of that gun was pointed directly at his chest when you pulled the trigger, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that, correct?
Yes.
And you still pulled the trigger, didn't you?
Yes.
Because you intended to kill Anthony Huber at that moment, didn't you?
No.
What did you think was going to happen then? You got a gun that's aimed directly at his chest, you pull the trigger. What did you think was going to happen?
the judge I've known for a long time, and he's pretty conservative and straightforward. And it was obvious early on he wanted to maintain strict control over the trial.
This was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that. And the court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
The prosecutor had to go after him, and which is what he tried to do. Kyle Rittenhouse was one of the most rehearsed witnesses I've ever seen. He did not move an inch from his testimony about, I didn't intend to kill him. I was just protecting. I was just trying to stop the attack on me. And he just repeated it over and over and over again. Very, very controlled. And it was hard for the prosecutor to get anywhere with him because he was so well prepared.
All right, so just kind of break this down a little bit. 17-year-old dude buys a gun from, or has a friend buy a gun for him because he can't purchase it himself. Buys the gun. He says the gun is supposed to be kept in a locker at his friend's house until he turns 18. And he's supposed to be using it for hunting. Never shot the gun before. Never used the gun, never pulled the trigger on the gun, nothing. Gets the gun when the first night of the Kenosha riot starts, and then drives from his state, which he's saying he didn't do, drives from his state into Kenosha to protect the businesses that were potentially being rioted against the night before after Jacob Blake was shot. So during the riots, he's saying he's a medic. 17, has no idea what the hell being a medic is. He probably can just stop a nosebleed. And he takes the gun for quote unquote protection and then goes into the trenches of the riots to go try to stop people from breaking into a car dealership. In the meantime, he says he was there delivering medical services. The dude came after him, and that's when he ended up shooting him. So shot him, then shot another dude that tried to attack him with a skateboard, apparently. And then the third dude he shot in the arm when he pulled his gun on him, and he called it basically self-defense. There was another person he shot at, but he missed. So shot 3, killed 2, injured 1, shot at a 4th. Free. chilling with Donald Trump for Thanksgiving. Let's put that out there.
I mean, who wants to go?
It's a great world for a white kid.
I have no energy for white on white violence. So, I'm gonna let y'all handle that one.
I think the problem with this entire case is by letting him slide on that. Basically, what you say is that anyone that decides to go to a protest with a gun and say that they're defending themselves because they feel like they're in harm's way can shoot somebody and get away with it.
Unless you're black.
You basically just set the standard to go to Black Lives Matter protest with a rifle and shoot someone and say it was self-defense.
Yep.
I mean, here's the thing. Shout out Bugs. He said, what is right is right and what's wrong is wrong. There is wrong in the matter because the people that he shot, even though like part of me feels the way Steve feels that, it's white on white. That the white people that were there that he shot were white people that were allies. You know what I mean?
Right.
That were there. So he, like you said, he went there for drama. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, his mom drove him there. Ironically, just off course a little bit, the shooter in the Michigan case, his parents got charged, with involuntary manslaughter. And I think his mom should have been on trial for doing that. Like they should definitely charged her up in the matter because she knew what she was doing. Like to take your kid across state to mind somebody else's business, like
right.
Like
he got nothing to do with you.
Like right, he's not a G.I. Joe. He's not like a trained SEAL. He's not an assassin. You're just taking your son who believes in his country across across to another state to protect.
Your bored ass son that didn't know what else to do with his life.
But just to protect the idea, right, of something.
Fuck that guy.
The politics of it, though, I just find kind of like this is what happens to us all the time. He got to play a part in picking his jury. Like you said, it was coerced. What can I say? Like, as a black man, like we just talked about a guy who had to do 16 years for something he didn't do. We know this guy did, like you said, shot at 4 different people, killing 2, at 1, and now what? He's off. He's walking around posing and smiling, and like you said,
chilling with Trump and the Fox team.
So now, but it also gives America, like, do they care? No, but it gives America a view of saying, see, now you see how crooked the justice system can be, even to your own. Or when you defend us, or you say something to protect us, because that's what they were there for, protesting with us, so.
And I think that's the important aspect of the entire situation. Like this kid who they said he was mimicking the Proud Boys, basically, before all this starts. You see a Black Lives Matter protest and you bring your ass at 17 with a gun that you've never shot to that protest with a gun to defend yourself while you're giving medical aid to people and protecting car dealerships. Like, this has nothing to do with you. The people who have the car dealerships, they have insurance. I'm sure their insurance covers their car dealerships.
Yep.
So it's like this ain't your place, and you're a child ultimately. But if a black person would have shot their child for shooting other people, he'd be under the jail. And this little dude shoots folks, goes up to the cop tanks with his hands up, and the cops are telling him to get out the way so they can ride past him because ultimately they didn't feel like he was a threat. But you shoot unarmed black people that you feel like are a threat by looking at you the wrong way. Like, it's just, there's so much in that shit that's
he made them comfortable.
Crazy.
If it was one of us, they fear us. If he made them comfortable. They didn't see him as a threat. I mean, it's always like that. Like,
even when the cops were like, when he put his hands up, there were people there, other white people though, that were saying like, "Yo, he shot somebody."
He just shot somebody. They drove past him,
and they drove by him, like, and that's. But the thing is just it's
Yo,
just the
he went
pure irony
home.
of the. Yeah.
He probably
Motherfucker
thought
went-
whoever he shot was black anyway. Good,
He
thank
went
you.
home. Like,
I didn't talk about that dude, man. Fuck that dude, yo. Like, for real,
it's
man.
a dangerous
seriously,
slope, cuz.
He made out. He made out. Like he should have went to jail for that shit. Like, come on, man. Like you intended on shooting somebody. So why did you bring your gun? Like, come on.
Nah, why would you go across the state to go into
a riot?
That has nothing to do with
that.
you.
You know it's going to be a riot because it was a riot the night before. You know there's going to be a riot. You take a gun to that riot.
Target practice. That's why.
It's shoot somebody and then went home. He ain't go to the police station and say, "Hey, I just shot somebody." Motherfucker went home. He
Had
crossed
a
back
good
over
night
state
rest.
lines, went back to the crib, and was chilling. Like it's, yeah.
Fuck that guy.
I mean, and like I said, the mom deserves some responsibility too. I don't care. She's 38 years old. You know, like that's well enough. She knows what the intentions were. So you know, she has to be accountable too. I think a lot more of these parents got to be accountable, especially when they have knowledge of it. And I think that's another way to get through the parents with this situation, because like them parents being charged in that school shooting shows like, hey, they had a call earlier that day for his behavior. The dad just went and bought him a gun 4 days ago, and then this happens. You know, so like,
But then they said his mom texted him. They said his mom texted him and said, "LOL, I'm not mad at you, but next time, just don't get caught."
Yeah, what kind of shit?
Yeah, so we can move on because it's gonna be a very pissed off kind of night.
Yeah.
All right. So, like this lawyer said, you can't run into a situation and put yourself in harm's way and then claim self-defense. These motherfuckers found out.
Travis McMichael, his father Gregory, and William Roddy Bryan could face life in prison if convicted. They have all pleaded not guilty to the charges. Omar Villafranca spoke to Arbery's mother.
I think if the jurors paid very, very close attention, took very good notes, they'll see what actually happened to Ahmaud on that day.
Ahmaud Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, has been in the courtroom every day as prosecutors and defense attorneys tell very different stories on how and why her son died.
He was running on county roads, on public roads. Ahmaud wasn't doing anything wrong.
That was prosecutor Linda Dunikoski's argument as she took aim at the three defendants Monday, saying Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan had no cause to kill Arbery because he had committed no crime.
And they made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street.
Defense attorneys argued the defendants were conducting a citizen's arrest and that Travis McMichael shot Arbery in self-defense. That, despite McMichael's testimony on Thursday that Arbery did not threaten him.
He has not threatened you?
No.
Hasn't pulled out a gun?
No, ma'am.
Hasn't pulled out a knife?
He did not.
Gregory McMichael's attorney tried to paint Arbery as responsible for what happened.
No one but Ahmaud Arbery made the decision to either reach for or certainly give the very real impression that he was reaching for a handgun.
And Roddy Bryan's attorney argued his client was simply filming what happened and cooperated with authorities.
Roddy Bryan certainly was not aware of any intention on the part of Travis McMichael to shoot Mr. Arbery.
Cooper Jones left the courtroom after one defense attorney made comments about her son's appearance the day of the shooting.
With no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
You got up and left.
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't expect them to go that low. I'll just say this, regardless of how long and how dirty his toenails were, that's still my son. And he didn't deserve to die the way that he died.
Anyone? No.
I got long, dirty toenails too.
Yo, that lawyer owes his mom a hell of an apology, and somebody need to like worry about her law license. That was some low, not even borderline, but like some low racist shit. and
That
she knew
was
what she was
her.
doing.
That was all she had.
Yeah,
She
she
didn't
knew what
have
she was
any
doing.
actual defense. All she could do was rile them up. And
So here's the crazy
surprisingly, it
thing.
didn't work.
Crazy shit is like I run. So I go running down here, and there's an area down here, like it's in Fayetteville, which is like maybe 20 minutes from the crib. And it's like it's a wood path, basically. Like you run back in the woods, like lakes and shit like that. And there's a conscious effort when I'm running that I make sure that I'm making eye contact with white people as I'm running. Or if I run past somebody's house, it's like I smile because it's like I don't want them thinking that I'm running through their neighborhood on some bullshit. And that was before this happened. Like since this happened, I don't even run back there no more. Like it's if I'm out somewhere running, it's like a running path in public with cars driving by. Like I don't trust people down here to not be those people. And it's crazy because you can do some shit like that and ultimately damn near get away with it. And they would have got away with it had Roddy Bryant not filmed the shit on his cell phone.
Right.
So it's one of them crazy situations where you try to figure out who's wrong and how wrong it is. I was surprised that a jury with all white people with one black person actually convicted all three of them. That was shocking as hell to me. I was literally like shaking watching the verdict. And like to see them convict all of them on facts without necessarily putting race into the conversation. Like the prosecutor didn't really touch on race too much until the end. So she didn't really push on the fact that it was a white on black situation until the end of it, and they still convicted him, which was shocking to me, especially in Georgia. It's fucking different living down here. Like you kind of know, like the white folks down here, they may be cool, but they may not be cool. Like you really understand that, like, you know what I mean, don't go to certain areas at night. I've never had to worry about that. Like people talk shit about like Perry County, but like it's real down here from like neighborhood to neighborhood. Like you really gotta think twice about where you going when it get dark.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, because we've seen it time and time again where they say it's supposed to be a jury of your peers, but with only one black person down south. But again, I think in this case, it didn't matter because the public outcry has happened before. Rodney King had a fucking video that disclosed him getting his ass whooped, and they still got acquitted. But it was so blatant, and even with the prosecutor being caught and being called dirty in the matter, you know, I still was on the ex-prosecutor. I'm sorry, it still was a wait and see process until you actually heard the true verdict. Because we've seen this before, we've seen it played out. You know what I mean? So, it was good. It's not. I don't call it justice because he's still dead. You know what I mean? And like, fuck them going to jail forever. Like he didn't even deserve to die. So I hate that we call it justice. You know what I mean? It's just accountability in a sense for your actions. But it was okay to hear. You know what I mean? Like I'm not upset that but a young black man dying because he's just minding his business, jogging, and nah. And then, like you said, you trap him and you thought that you're going to record it, tell a lie that didn't even make sense again, have video and get away with it, because people have, and they do. So
constantly.
I'll
let you go because I'm trying to find this tweet that Raphael Warnock put up. All right. So he said, this verdict upholds a sense of accountability, but not true justice. True justice looks like a black man not having to worry about being harmed or killed while on the jog, while sleeping in his bed, or while living what should have been a very long life. Amal should be with us today. I mean, that's what it boils down to. It's like, I had a conversation with a white dude like 2 days ago, and he was like, it's sad that the things that you have to worry about, I would never have to think about. And it's like, that's on a regular basis, but I don't think people understand that. Like you contemplate so much just stepping out of the door. And now you can't even be inside your door because they'll kick your fucking door in and shoot you. So it's like, there's stuff that you have to worry about that other races and other cultures and other communities don't have to worry about. Like, you're not going to go into Crown Heights in Brooklyn and shoot up some Jewish dude. It's not going to happen. But you can go 7 blocks up the street into Bed-Stuy and let loose, and it's cool. Like, that's just kind of how society is set at this point, which is crazy as hell.
I mean, it's crazy because, like, we've been saying these things for years. This whole episode, we've been discussing different circumstances where, like, we've had a guy that was exonerated for 16 years. Like, we've said these things. We've shown how flawed the judicial system is. We just discussed a dude getting off after everything shows you that what he did was kill 2 people with the sole intention of going there, looking for problems. We've been doing this for so long. We're just tired at this point because, we've been telling you, we've had evidence. Now you got to see it in this different dynamic, and you still have people that want to, like, disregard it. Like, we've shown you video evidence. Now you've got video evidence of your own, even killing your own, and you still want to kind of believe something different. Like, come on, man. Like, or is it just because the fact that they were protesting for Black Lives Matter? So it's just a matter of, like you said, with us being Black, it's going to always be something that's semi-tiresome because of we got to fight and just think. Like you said, it always has to be us thinking on so many levels before we do anything. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy out here. But I am, like I said, go ahead, my fault.
No, I was saying, like, even when you go back to the Rittenhouse situation, the fact that right after he gets off of his case, he's in Mar-a-Lago chilling with Trump. And it's like, that's what Trump wants people to do. Like, he wants you to go to these rallies and quote unquote end them. It's like you not just accept it, you glorify it. And then you say, oh, he did the right thing. Like, that's not the right thing. But again, that's the world we live in. So it's crazy on different levels. And I think what I said with Steve is, like, the crazy thing about it is, had there not been the audacity to have a video, but they wouldn't be in jail. This shit would never happen.
Well, the arrogance of them recording it, because their video is them recording it. Like, it's not like usually it's bystanders recording. Like, the George Floyd had so many bystanders, that's different. Like, we do know that there's police body cams, and we have a lot of officers that are going on trial right now for these, these shootings but like, they recorded it on, like, their own and was like, oh no, we were justified in trapping him. He didn't have a weapon. Like, listen to how arrogant and, like, nonchalant the fact that, like, I'm recording him, and since he didn't stop.
Hold on, cuz. Really, fam?
Oh, I'm sorry,
you could mute it.
You're right. My bad.
But no, I mean, it just shows, like, we still, like, though we've come some way, we still have a far way to go, and it's just no matter what. And when it comes to us, it's always going to be an issue, and, like, that's why we're always like, oh, all right, like I said, you don't know, like, and until you hear the verdict. But even with the verdict, like, yeah, they're guilty, but we still got to see the time. Like, once Derek Chauvin got the time, we was like, all right. And then he still has the Fed charges coming. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you read your
and he's still appealing it.
Right. And then they keep postponing the other officers, trial at that same time. So again, we won't breathe a real sigh of relief till we start seeing it become a regular routine for these people that do these types of things to be accountable.
Yo. So here's I don't know if y'all, like, watched the trial, like, the whole way through. But I pretty much let it play in the background while I was working. And the one lawyer for I think it was the son. What happened? The one lawyer for the Sun, he was like, had Ahmaud Arbery just stopped and did what they told him to do, he would still be alive. It's like the audacity to think that like you can just tell someone what to do and they're supposed to listen to you because you're white. Or like you tell this black dude, get over here, I'll blow your, like the dad literally said, I'll blow your fucking brains out. And he said that should have been enough for him to stop and do what I told him to do. Why he gotta listen to you? Like you don't, and that's the mindset. Like if I tell you to do something, you better do it, or there's consequences, and the consequences are your life. And that's how, again, especially down here, that's how people think. But I mean, it's not just here though. It's like the eye of it gets hit on like the South and deep South. But again, you up in doing this shit in Michigan and Wisconsin and Oakland and Seattle, like it doesn't matter where you at. It's just that's
it's
the
everywhere.
mindset.
It's still everywhere. Like you said, racism is what it is, and like the fact that they try to, again, it's we lumped all three of these cases, but it just shows you the different extremes. A black man gets accused for something, he does time. They found out, oh, he wasn't guilty. Like, oh, he gets an apology, but never mind the fact that he lost 16 years of his life. White kid kills white people, he's off. You know, then you have, oh, well, these white people, we had no choice, but now they finally find someone guilty. So it's just the major extremes to show how it is with us. And it's just, it's bananas, man. Like, and that's why, like I said, I worry for my sons. You know what I mean? Like, worry for myself. I worry for y'all, my peoples. Like, you know what I mean? Because it is like that. And it's something that no matter what you want to make yourself believe, it's always in the back of your mind because you know better. And if you don't, if you don't, you'll get caught. You know what I mean? And that's what happens.
Yeah. I think even the fact that I'm saying like it was self-defense and you know we were afraid for our lives. You chased a dude down with no gun and pickup trucks, standing in the back of them ready to shoot, but you were afraid for your life.
Well, yeah, because he's black, he scared them. That was part of the argument. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I was going to say. I legit believe that a lot of times when these motherfuckers do that, I believe that sometimes they don't know what to do with us. So that's their way of like, I'm not saying that it's not hatred. I'm not saying that it's just not the audacity of them thinking that they're white privileged. I mean, think about it. Why else would they record this shit? Did you really think that they thought that shit, like they would, you know what I mean? They probably thought they would get away with it. It's just what normally happens. But I just think they fear us, son. That's really what it is, man.
Yeah, but the fear stems from passed down ideas, and that's that's part of the evolution of thinking, that you have to start being able to understand, like, yo, like I'm just trying to mind my business the same way you try to mind your business, but you don't have no authority over me because I'm a man just like you. Like if I want to punch you in the face for you stepping in my face, that should be it. You don't think that just because I'm walking down the street, you can trap me in with your trucks. One dude record while two other ones try to hold me, and then I don't even have a weapon, and you throw a weapon and say that's what it is. Like that's even to the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman thing. You know, like he followed a kid, like yo, and then you start getting worked by this kid. Like let's be honest, like he was getting worked, and then you got to shoot a kid because you soft. Like you know what I mean? So that's because he didn't even think he lived there, but his dad lived there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing we got to get over. Like, I'm not excusing none of that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not my place. And black people get tired of always having to explain to white people where, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I don't need to explain to you what it is. I'm a man. You're a man. That's it. I don't have to explain to you why you should feel. No, that's it. That's not it. Period. Right. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you don't have, like, there's no justification for you to be scared of me. Period. I ain't scared of you. And that's what it is, like point blank. Like, and that's just common knowledge. Because no, I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And because you know that's what they try to play. Like, oh, he was walking through the site, but they showed in them same videos there were white people that would walk through that same site, but they, you know, it was him. It wasn't about anything else. You know what I mean? Like there were white kids that would go to the site. white dudes that went through the site. Come on, man. Like, I'm just tired of that shit. And that's something that we got to deal with.
And it ain't always like them being scared either. I don't want to just put it all on that because a lot of times they don't respect us anyway. A lot of people do believe in that, get rid of all the black folks type thing. Like, this is white country, white. Like, that's what it's always about. So,
white.
I get it. I mean, that's a
ultimately,
fact. Like what you doing in my neighborhood, boy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the eyes of that community,
mentality.
you're expendable.
Right.
You're expendable. Like, you're another threat. So the same way that a deer is a threat to somebody's garden, you're a threat just being in the neighborhood. So like I said, who the hell at this point in life be like, I'm doing a citizen's arrest?
Right.
I mean,
like, who the fuck says that in real life and like really says that's what I'm going to go do? I'm going to perform a citizen's arrest.
Someone in a country town that's racist and has a sense of entitlement. I mean, it all makes sense. And like, here's the thing though. I truly believe part of their ideology is true and sincere to them, but nah, it ain't work. You know what I mean? Because like, we know there are parts of, like you said, everywhere, Boston, you know what I mean? Here, you know what I mean? Philly, like there's all types of parts where it's super, because like you said, they'll try to pull that up, but you can't use that excuse as much as you could before, because a lot of people got away with it for years. And that's another thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like think about it. That's what Chauvin tried to say to George Floyd. Because like, no, he wasn't responding. We pulled him back out. Like, come on, pulled him back out. He was handcuffed. Like, it didn't matter.
He was barely in the car before they pulled him back out.
Right.
Like,
you see what I'm saying? So like,
shut the door, let him scream. Who the fuck cares? Sit in there, scream.
Right.
Like,
so
good. Shut the door. It's very simple. It's just they like to feel that authoritarian feeling, and it's getting nuts. And I think it'll be a long time before it honestly slows down. There's still going to be somebody somewhere that's going to do something stupid and feel like they have the right to do it.
Well, yeah, if you know where you live too, and that's a different thing too. Like, if you live in a neighborhood, or like you said, the majority feels a certain way, you might be able to get away with it. That's true too, So
I'm saying, dude was intertwined with the police department. Like, he was, as far as he was concerned, I'm good. Prosecutor, throw it out. We good. Like, just hide this shit. Like, it never happened. We're good. No one saw what happened. There's no evidence. There's no ring lights or no ring cams. We're good. Like, throw it away. And then the other dude popped out and was like, oh, here's the tape so I can let y'all know that I ain't had nothing to do with it. Now they all in jail.
No doubt.
But that's what they get. That's what the fuck they get, idiot.
Yeah, it just, but fuck them. It just hurts me that, you know what I mean? Like, he was a young black dude, and he was minding his business. First of all, and he was being healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't jog nowhere, so, you know what I mean?
Isn't that usually the case? Black guy minding his business?
It's always minding the business. Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna say always. Like, sometimes we do be like, doing
I went with usually.
For the most part,
usually minding your business,
we mind our business.
Stay in your own lane, and if someone else gets in that shit, you lose your life, and your family hopes that they fucking go down for it. Shit's stupid.
So, I mean, all right.
It,
so I'm not a huge fan of Sean King at all, but I gotta give him props on that one, because had he not started that in motion, it probably never would have even seen the light of day. So apparently, from how it sounds, Ahmaud Arbery's friends hit him up and was like, "This is what happened down here. I need you to talk to this dude's mom." He talked to her mom, or he talked to Ahmaud's mom. She told him what was going on, and then he tracked down the Bryant dude, and then ended up getting like the footage of the tape. And then after it was leaked out, like all that started getting put into play. But apparently, had that conversation not happened and him starting to like kind of push the envelope, it probably never would have came out at all. So allegedly, that's how that went down. So I'll give him his props if that is the truth. But again, I'm not a fan of the dude. I think he's doing some shady shit as well.
No doubt.
Just my perspective. Anybody that hit me up, ask me for money so you can go publish a book. Come on, cuz you're supposed to be a civil rights activist. Martin Luther King was broke.
I ain't gonna say nothing because I want to say something funnier, but it is what it is. So,
what you got?
Like, Yeah, is that the wrap for the verdicts? Do we got anything to wrap up on that?
Nah, we good because I'm gonna get pissed off and be mad at somebody. That's why I see him down here.
My bad.
Word. Yeah. We good then. Like, it's a heck of a way to end the verdicts, but 3 different verdicts.
I mean, it's the life. It's the reality of black men. There's always some shit going on that you always gotta like watch your back on. As my mom tell me all the time, keep your head on the swivel. Like you never know what's going on. Like you gotta cross your T's and dot your I's on everything. You can be going from here to the store to get a soda, and you have to like claim where you weren't, make sure people know where you were, fight somebody off for your life, run from somebody to try to get home, like avoid getting arrested for some shit you didn't do. Like it's just there's always a circumstance that you have to worry about by doing everyday duties that other communities don't got to deal with. And that's I mean, it's the sad reality of what it's like being black. And I think until people really understand that is shit, it doesn't change.
No doubt.
That's me.
That's us all. That's for us all. We definitely understand that and agree. It just shows, and there's going to be more verdicts coming soon. Like they're trying to put the cause back in jail. That ain't happening. And that's why that's what makes that shit even funnier at the beginning because the cause is like, yo, I'm out.
They go to jail.
I love that shit.
He said, yeah, he did that like that bitch. But it makes it so, on a funny note, it makes it funny because like he did that because the last time he was walking to court, the chick jumped out the bushes naked screaming at him. So he did it last time walking back past the bush. He was like,
but he also make that sound. He did that Fat Albert shit when he does it. That's what makes it even funny. Like, he did the hey, you know what I mean? Like the yell at somebody. That's why it's funny. Like, but again, at the end of the day, America's fucking judicial system is fucked up. There's always some gray area where it's supposed to be black and white. We see what the fuck it is. It doesn't matter. We'll still be
some bullshit, yo.
So it's a lot. So
yo. So all right, this bubble bath bugs put this out. All right, Chief. So what it boils down to. All right, Chief. Yo. So what it comes down to, I don't like to promote violence, but you need to get y'all guns together. You get ready, you ain't gotta, or if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
Find you a local gun shop, put it up there, let people know what you about.
Yeah, you gotta pull out your pistol.
Just
you gotta pull it out.
Protect your folks, because my queen, my princess, and my prince, they're gonna be all right, because I don't play them kind of games. So if you come by my crib, it's gonna be on and popping.
Yeah, I can't wait till he punches you in the
face. Until next time, y'all stay easy. Q out.
Y'all crazy.